John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks Radio app. Thanks for being with us today. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables, trucking the truth all over the nation. TGIF. It is Friday because it doesn't mean anything at the beach right now because, well, everything is closed. Our Open America Tour continues. We are in Spring Lake, New Jersey today in Monmouth County. Thanks for joining us. We're also on Facebook Live. Great to have everybody with us today. As always, you can text us 757-692-1710. You can call in 888-480-JOHN. Nationwide, 888-480-5646. Monday, we will be in New York City. Yes, it's lockdown. Yes, we'll be there. Yes, our Open America Tour continues. We'll be at the brand new Newsmax headquarters in New York City, and that's where we're doing our show. Tuesday, I'll be in Wilmington, Delaware, right in Joe Biden's backyard. Actually, we're a few blocks from his basement. Maybe I can go in there and wave. No, there's security there. Can't do that. Maybe I could disguise myself as a seagull and fly by his house like the others do. We'll have to see. But Wilmington on Tuesday, we'll go from there, see what happens. We like to keep things open here on the John Fredericks Show. We're live in Spring Lake, New Jersey at the Starlight Cleaners. Our business owner, Toni Angelini, she owns 3 businesses here with her husband, John Nagel. Spring Lake Manor restaurant, Starlight Cleaners, which we are. We're in her beautiful cleaners. Pretty cool. We're also, she also owns a party store.
Jersey Shore Party Shop.
Jersey Shore Party Shop. We're with also with us for another segment is Bob Fahey. Bob owns 3 restaurants in Monmouth County, Asbury Park, Manasquan, and Lake Como. And joining us now live is also Assemblyman from Spring Lake, Republican Assemblyman Ned Thompson. And I want to thank Ned for being here. Much better turnout of politicians than I got in Cape May when everybody got scared and said that the governor might give them some kind of retribution. So I got the business owners on, and outside of the mayor of Cape May, no one else would come on, even though they had committed to, because they're afraid of retribution from Governor Phil Murphy. Unbelievable. If your own elected officials aren't going to stand up for you, like, why are they here? Incredible. And Assemblyman Ned Thompson with us. Want to thank Assemblyman Gerry Schaffenberger for being with us earlier. Also on the line, and I'm going to start with her, on the line is Katherine Hermes. Katherine owns Country Home in Burnersville. Katherine, thanks for being with us. Just let me tell you the story. There was a video I saw. I couldn't believe it. Katherine has an antique gift shop, and she was trying to survive by selling some of her wares online on a Facebook Live and a Zoom conference call in her store at 8 p.m., 8 to 9 p.m., in her store with her one employee on Zoom with the door locked, with a close sign on it. Nobody could come in because it's locked down. She's on Zoom in her store that she owns, in her location that she either owns, we'll find out, or pays a lease on. Somebody ratted her out because she was breaking the curfew, and she was on Facebook Live after 8 o'clock, and the cops came and shut it down. Is this the new America that we live in now, where now they're going to be monitoring who my Facebook Live video was from after 8 p.m.? I mean, what the hell country do we live in? And she's with us now. Katherine, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Tell me a little about what exactly happened. Do you pay rent? Do you own that location? How can you get shut down because you were doing a video?
So it's interesting that you say that. So I rent this space, and just a few. So I was with a friend. We were doing a Facebook Live. It wasn't my first time doing a Facebook Live from my store because, as you know, under the current set of bizarre circumstances, the only way, if you own a gift boutique, so you only have 1 or 2 things. Like, it's not like I carry lettuce, right, which you know what it is. I have handmade things, a lot of which I make. So it's very difficult for people to know what I have if I don't sort of show them. So the very few ways that we can do this is to go onto this Facebook channel and have your followers. You just basically put your things in front of the camera, and if people happen to be on Facebook and if they choose to look at your things, then they'll see the things that are in your store. then you can put them in your window, and if they happen to walk by and if they happen to call you, then they might buy it. So, this is clearly a big return on investment activity, but it was literally the only option that I had to sell things. And because I'm putting things in the window, I will let you know the door wasn't locked because I have to keep going outside and looking at how it looks in the window to make sure you can see it. And to see I've put a tag on it with the price. So I go in and out constantly just looking while I'm setting up my window. And apparently another business owner, and I know who the business owner is, had called and said that there were people had called the police and said there were people coming in and out of the store as if I was open, having a party. And so the policeman came, and now I'm going to segue. I've also had a policeman called to my home because they said I was running a business out of my home, which, by the way, home-based business is an IRS tax exemption. Like, it's a totally approved thing. But that policeman who came to my home, he was like, I'm really sorry. He was apologizing.
Well,
I don't see anything going on here. Because I was running a home-based business, because I've moved all my stuff to my house because I'm afraid of Bernardsville now.
So you were trying to sell things from your home. You have a home-based business, it's perfectly legal, and now they come into your home?
So the policeman who came to my home handled it correctly. He's like, I'm really sorry. I have to investigate every phone call that comes in. He goes, clearly there's nothing going on here, and he excused himself and he apologized and he left. Okay, fair enough. He had to do his job, and he apologized for the silliness of the call. That policeman could have handled it the same way, but instead he came in, and I was in the middle of my live. Someone had said I hadn't talked about, I carry this line of tea called Tea Forte. So I was like, someone said, you didn't talk about the tea tonight. I was like, oh my gosh. So I go walking to the front of the store, and there's a policeman standing at my door, and he comes in, and he's like, you have to turn off. He starts with his agenda of you have to close. And so I said to him, we're live. So right then and there, I told him I was recording this and he didn't even listen. He just kept barreling right on over me with his agenda. And he proceeded to tell me how I wasn't allowed to be out after 8 because there was a curfew, which isn't actually a true statement. There was no curfew. And earlier that day, the governor had clarified that there never was a curfew in New Jersey. He also said that I was not allowed to be in my store after 8 o'clock at night, and that actually is totally false as well. I can be in my store all night if I wanted to. He said I wasn't allowed to be conducting any type of business at all after 8 o'clock at night in my store.
You can't even fathom this. I mean,
right? And
Catherine, what does this have to do? What does your Zoom conference call at 8 o'clock have to do with stopping the spread of the virus? I mean, what is it? I mean, the objective of this was to stop the spread of the virus. Now it's just we're going to just control and shut businesses down. It has nothing to do with it. Stay with us a minute. I want to get to Assemblyman Ned Thompson from Monmouth County Republican. Assemblyman, you haven't seen the video perhaps, but you just heard this story. I mean, she's doing a Zoom. She's trying to sell things. She's doing Facebook Live. She's in her property. I mean, she's not open for business. People are not coming in and buying things. There's no curfew. Somebody rats her out, cops come in and take off her video. Like, what the hell is going on?
It's insane. Absolutely insane. The inconsistency throughout the state of law enforcement at this point, and I can't explain it. The inconsistency on how they apply the law, how they don't know what the law is at that particular time, and whatever protocols are in place. Another example, we have yacht clubs down on the shore, and a lot of them have restaurants in them and are doing pickup curbside for their membership. On Easter, one of the larger yacht clubs was doing pickup for the Easter dinners, and they had a bunny out there, a bunny with a mask on, I kid you not. And what happened was they called the police on the bunny.
Oh, God.
The police showed up and said, you can't have a bunny out saying hi to the kids. That's how incredible this gets. They ratted out the Bayhead bunny. It's insanity.
They ratted out the bunny.
They ratted out the bunny. And this is the new normal. People are so frustrated in their homes at this point, and they're ratting out each other. It's absolutely insanity. We have to have relief. We absolutely have to have relief. There is no sense, you can buy jeans in Walmart, but you can't go to Old Navy. Every small business out there can be open right now with social distancing. We're adults. We get it. We know what we have to do as far as taking care of the COVID-19 virus. And hopefully we'll have a vaccine soon to get back to normal. But in lieu of that, at this particular point, how can we justify crushing small businesses for big box? It's insane. There's no way that you can do curbside pickup when one woman wants to try on a dress. It's not happening. Clothes are just as essential as food is. Every business is essential. Every business is essential to the business owner. So don't tell me that we have non-essential businesses at this point. There's ways to be handling every aspect of what businesses are in New Jersey. 1 in 4 are not going to come back. And that's just a fact of the matter. We'll have businesses that we'll never see again, and hypothetically, we'll have businesses that we've never seen before come out of this. But the fact of the matter is that there's no reason, there's no medical reason, and there's no logical reason how the government's making decide as to who's the winners and losers at this point.
I've said to several people now, and they're always shocked when I say it. I say, the small businesses in this area, you're going to be very surprised to see who makes it and who doesn't, because we are at a breaking point where there are people who say 2 more weeks of this, and I'm done. I just can't do it. And to your point about the health and safety aspect of it, in the restaurant industry, pre-COVID, you were already trusting your restaurant, your local establishment, to have the dishes sanitized and the chef's hands washed and the staff not showing up to work sick. That's an industry that already knows how to keep their customers and their employees safe. That's the training.
Sure.
For the restaurant industry to be as adversely affected by this as we are, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, the other aspect, too, is that, to the credit of however it's been done, the testing in New Jersey has actually expanded exponentially, which is absolutely necessary. I went for my antibody testing 3 times and got a negative 3 times. Now I'm looking to get into a clinical trial to see whatever they're doing, because what they're doing with the testing for the virus right now is the government came in and said to all the pharma guys, it said, listen, all right, whatever you have that's 95% in production, start producing. Mm-hmm. Normally they'd wait until they get through all the efficacy testing and everything else. Mm-hmm. But now they're doing a ramp up, because it takes 6 months to get to this type of volume, 100 million, 200 million doses that you're really going to need to have.
Right.
So, that's the next step. And they do have the testing now out there available for just everybody to go from their doctor, get a script, go get the test, either antibody or for the COVID itself, if it puts your mind at ease. Mm-hmm. So you have a known well population. And then you move forward. But the insanity of keeping this lockdown, it's going to make it much worse than it is. Because if you compress this population, it's going to make the virus stay longer than if you don't.
Exactly. And I think that's where we are right now. And you have to get back to Florida, Georgia, Alabama. These are the states that have opened. Iowa, and all their numbers are down. They're open. They're down, and people are not really paying attention to these masks. And we have a mandate starting today in Virginia where you have to put a mask on. There's a lot of doctors saying that it could have some benefit, but there's also the negative of it. You're touching your face. There's not herd immunity, things of that nature. All that going on. John Fredericks Radio Network. I want to get back to Katherine Hermes. So Katherine, I've got a couple comments here. I can't read them all. We don't have enough time. But Corey in Williamsburg, Virginia says, I'm listening to these 2 women. This is horrifying. Sounds like a police state in paradise. Where is the populist pushback? This is freedom at stake. What they did to Katherine, I'm just going to get Toni involved here. What they did to Katherine, it's mind-boggling to me that you can shut a business down for having a live video out of your own location where you pay rent and it's dark and nobody comes in. And what is the next thing they're going to do? Say that I can't call my wife after 10 p.m.? Where's this going?
Well, listen, it sounds to me like Katherine has a competitor or someone that she doesn't get along with, which we all do.
Like the bunny. They ratted out the bunny.
Someone's got an axe to grind.
Right, so now you
Someone's got an axe to grind. So now the person who you had a beef with, you're going to rat them out, and nobody understands the issue with the 8 o'clock. Katherine, it was in the executive order that essential businesses, quote unquote, could not operate between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. And then the governor came out and said there never really was an 8 p.m. curfew. It was more of an advisory. but it's in the executive order. So when you have a police officer responding, they're doing the best that they can under the circumstances, but ultimately the police are being called to her place of business where she's bothering no one because somebody has an axe to grind against her.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is nobody really knows what to do. There is no, the rules change daily, it seems like, and even from the law enforcement, they're probably getting misinformed as what they can and can't do as well. Just like we are as small business owners. We have no clue what we can and can't do right now.
Everything's open to interpretation, and that is a recipe for disaster.
Well, the other part of this actually is it changes on a daily basis. I mean, the governor's all over the map on this. When I talk to his staff and talk to the folks that are making the decisions, keep in mind he made up 2 different committees, one political, one medical, to kind of guide him on his decisions. However, it's just committees that he can fall back on. If things go south, it was their fault, not his. Clearly, got it. But he's not even making those decisions at this point. And he's crushing the businesses. We cannot go on any longer. Our fishing industry, the economy at shore is a $44 billion economy. And he didn't even let us do short-term rentals until recently.
Right.
So people that had signed contracts back in September, I grew up here. I grew up in Avon. And the rental industry, they signed contracts in September the prior year.
Right.
And they're telling them they can't come down. People are calling me and say, I pay taxes on my summer home and I can't show up here?
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. And for the listeners who don't really understand, the geography or the economics of the area, the Jersey Shore, very much unlike the show that you may or may not have heard of, is a lovely place to do business and to live, and we thrive between Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend. There are businesses who are only open, for a few short months. They make all of their money in a short period of time, and they are not sure if they're going to be able to come back next year. So these are, obviously it's
insane.
It's important all year round. But
We're going to
here,
get to that in a second. I want to get back to Katherine Hermes for a second. So, Katherine, all this goes on. They shut your Zoom down. They come into your home. They're trying to shut that down. This has nothing to do with spreading the COVID virus. I mean, how do you feel about this whole thing, Katherine? I mean, like your family, what's their reaction? Your friends, what is the reaction here, Katherine?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I have two sort of observations. So one thing is an unintended consequence. The unintended consequence of this is that because I actually think he came to harass me. Honestly, he wasn't correct on any point that he gave me. You can't tell me that the police officers are so uninformed in the state that he accused me of 5 different things, none of which was correct, right? I don't have to wear a mask in my own place of business. Everything he said was incorrect. So part of it is that he just feels he has this power, and he kept saying executive order, as if it was some sort of a magical wand that he could just, I can executive order that, and you don't have to do like. So first of all, I feel that there's just like this power of harassment that some people, not everybody, but that evening was a power of harassment. And I have civil liberties and I have civil rights that have absolutely been imposed upon. But I often say that the karma fairy is the police they really are mad at me now. Like if they were mad at me before for pointing out that they didn't know what rules they were imposing, then they posted on Facebook, on their own Facebook. So the town had its own policeman Facebook page. They posted this whole thing about how wrong I was, and the town went absolutely crazy and started calling them and telling them and putting up and so many comments they had to take their Facebook page down because the town revolted against their behavior. And then the other flip reaction, the unintended consequence, is it got out to the rest of the planet. And I started that night with 250 people who might have cared what I had in my store. I now have over 9,000 followers. So 9,000 people who actually care what's in my store and actually do want to buy from me. And so what this has done for me, I have to tell you, which I think is really annoying the Berrutazza police, is it has said, I don't need your little town anymore. You can have open storefronts for rent, and your problem will be trying to figure out how to fill them, because who's going to want to come into this town? Because the next time you shut me down, if it's going to be the fall because there's a rebound, that's the only time I survive. So just like the Jersey Shore, the only time they survive is the summer. That's when they make their money. Retail, it's October, November, December, and everybody's talking about how there's going to be a rebound. So if you're not going to let me survive, if this is what you're going to do, I've actually given, my business is closed in Berners-Ville, and it will cease to exist. I've found someone to take over my lease, and it will cease to exist beginning on Monday. So, but I have a worldwide community
it's just
now.
Unbelievable that you've gone through this. Your civil rights are trampled on. Maybe the unintended consequence here, Katherine, is that maybe there'll be a political revolution, I call it a political reckoning that comes out of this. How these guys can continue to get reelected when they're destroying your life for no reason is beyond me. They're supposed to be there to serve you, not to harass you into hell. Unbelievable. All right, I got to roll. We've got Assemblyman Ned Thompson with us. We've got John Bezerra. He owns a cafe in Point Pleasant here in the Jersey Shore. Mike Jensen, Realtor. He's pissed. He's got something to say. Can't wait to get involved. Bob Fahey, we can't get rid of him. He's staying. And we want to thank you at Wellington Hotel for putting us up. Great place in Spring Lake. And we will be right back. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Toni Angelini, our host at Starlight. Stay with us.